Good evening, vinyl community. Hi, it's Rob back for yet another video. Yeah, this is usual vinyl finds. I've been lucky enough to pick up some more records from Ben from my usual shop. As always, I rarely get records from anywhere else these days, particularly with the fact that there's no record fairs and so on. So yeah, so got a decent stack of stuff here to show. Yeah, some couple of long time wants, some filler for my collection. There was holes there to fill, which are now filled, and also some jazz. Yes. You heard it here first. Yes, I've finally started to dip my toes a bit more into the wonderful world of jazz, and yeah. So there's a couple of titles in there, so to show. Yeah. So starting off right at the top, this was a nice freebie. This is the UK band Incantation from 1984, I think this is. This is an album called Virgins of the Sun. Yeah, I like Incantation. I've got a best of on Coda Records, and they had a big hit. Certainly those in the UK might remember it, called Dance of the Flames. Around about 1983, 84, something like that. I didn't actually pick up that album, and I think this is the one that came after it. So this is this is Virgins of the Sun. And yeah, I like Incantation. They're sort of lovely kind of panpipe music, sort of very haunting. Yeah, sort of imagine kind of El Condor Pasa, Paul Simon. It's kind of like that. Yeah, some of it's instrumental, some with the sung in Peruvian or Spanish. Not sure language they speak. Yeah, it's lovely, and nice to chill out to that. So yeah, pleased to get that. The next one was another freebie. I'm gonna cover that up because I don't know whether that'll get me slammed by YouTube. So yeah, this is Roxy Music's fourth album, Country Life. Yeah, we all know this. Now Ben did tell me that this was warped. This is the lyrics and the inner sleeve showing the first three albums. Yeah, and you could sort of see in the light in the shop that it was that there was a warp on it, but it kind of wasn't until I got it back, and I think you can probably see it there. There's quite a big dip. Yeah, so other than that, the record's in really nice condition. So it's a bit of a shame. What I'm going to do is I'm going to wedge it under a load of encyclopedias for a couple of weeks and see if that manages to straighten it out. If it doesn't, apparently, well, I've seen a couple of videos on YouTube. You can get the glass heat-proof sort of those things that you put hot food on and plates on, and you can kind of sandwich it in between that glass with a bit of weight on it, and put it into a low oven about 100 degrees for 10 minutes. Yeah, it sounds very dodgy, but the video I saw, the guy had a warp in the record that was a real kind of S-shaped, like that when you saw it on the side, and it obviously wouldn't play at all. It would just throw the needle off. I think he maybe did that I think it was a couple of applications, but it did straighten it out. So but he gave me free of charge anyway. So if it doesn't work, maybe I'll I don't know, I'll frame it or something, or keep the cover for for you know, maybe a spare or something like that. So yeah, next couple to add to my Neil Young collection. Yeah, I think Shannon D showed this fairly recently in her Neil Young Chronicle video. This is Time Fades Away. This is a live one from 1973. I've known about this one for quite a while, but never got round to picking up a copy. Yeah, love the tracks like Journey in the Past, Journey Through the Past, and The Bridge. Loving Minds, lovely as well. Apparently Neil hated this album, but as with all his material, nothing's wasted, everything's recorded, yeah, sort of comes out in his archive series. So, but yeah, pleased to pick that one up. So yeah, again, sticking with Neil Young live. This is a 2018 release, which I wasn't hitherto aware of. This was recorded in 1976. And this is Neil Young, Songs for Judy. It's a double live album. Yeah, and this is kind of Neil, I guess, at his romantic best, sort of envisaging that Judy Garland was actually in the audience, and he actually does an introduction to sort of introduce that, yeah, it's really, really nice. It's lovely, really well recorded. There's a write-up in there from Cameron Crowe and Joel Bernstein, which I haven't got around to reading yet, but yeah, I look forward to that. That's the label there. So yeah, this is lovely. What I've heard of it, I haven't heard all of it, but there's a lot of obviously his classics on here. It's got Heart of Gold, After the Gold Rush, Tell Me Why, Mr. Soul, Harvest, Old Laughing Lady, Man Needs a Maid, Sugar Mountain. Yeah, classic stuff. So happy to add that to my Neil Young collection. Okay, back to sort of UK, to the UK now. Bit of classic UK progressive folk here. We've got Al Stewart, and this is his 1972 album Orange. I always thought that this was an earlier one, but yeah, it is. It's 72, and this is a reissue. CBS reissue. It's got that nice price catalogue in there. So yeah, nothing spectacular here really, but that's 70s CBS label. But yeah, it's in lovely, lovely condition. And I actually swapped this, because it was the same price, for another album that I picked up last week, which I wasn't actually enjoying. So I brought it back, and he very kindly did me a trade. So that was great for that. Okay, this one is a real long time one, and I've never seen this in the wild before. I've had it on a CD set of their first 5 studio albums, but this is a early. I think, is this a stereo press? Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is a stereo press. This is a UK very early press of the Incredible String Band's debut album. I'm not sure, because I haven't checked the major season stuff, and I don't know whether it's a first pressing or not. I suspect that it isn't. It's maybe a second press, but it is an early one. Yeah, this is just a fabulous album. Obviously, you've got the talents of Mike Heron and Robin Williamson, who obviously continued in the band onwards. But this first incarnation of the band had Clive Palmer, who's this gentleman here. Yeah, he actually left after this album because he sort of wanted to pursue more kind of traditional folk, and sort of was no longer sort of fainted to continue with the progression of the band. So, but did continue a long career with his own band. And yeah, I mean, this has his great song "Empty Pocket Blues," which I think almost became like a signature tune for him. But this is a great album. You got like Maybe Someday, Mike Heron, October Song by Robin Williamson, which is just superb. And I believe Bob Dylan was quoted as saying that was, I think, one of his favourite albums of 1966, which is when this album was first released. Lovely song, The Tree by Mike Heron. That's a beautiful one. That's one of my favourites on this. Yeah. And then ending with Everything's Fine Right Now. Just superb. Yeah. And then obviously you've got Interlace with the Smoke Shoveling Song, which I love, by Robin Williamson. That wonderful whimsical kind of humour that he's got that always comes through. But yeah, just sharp and intelligent as well. It's just superb, and delighted to get that. It wasn't cheap, but yeah, I when you see these albums, I've learned the hard way that if you walk away, you often regret it, and so yeah, glad to pick that one up. Okay, so this one is a hole fill. This finally finishes off all the albums, I think up to Rock of the Westers, I think, for Elton John. And this is Madmen Across the Water. This is his 1971 release. This is lovely, in lovely condition. Don't always see it in such good nick with this kind of textured cover. It's quite a common album, obviously, but nice to have the original lyrics as well, with this kind of stapled in the middle, which they did a lot in the sort of early 70s, and particularly Elton's early 70s output. Quite a lot of his records had that. But yeah, you got obviously the classic Tiny Dancer on here. Yeah, about which I think was written for Bernie Taupin's wife. So lovely album, and glad to fill that gap. Okay, so now we're moving into the jazz stuff, and this is a long time one for me. I've mentioned this on probably a couple of my videos. I've been looking for this for quite a while. I've seen a lot of you find it in the interim, and been very jealous, but I finally acquired a copy. This is a stereo. I don't know whether it's a first press. It's an early press of Stan Getz and João Gilberto, and this is just fabulous record. Obviously, famously with the girl from Ipanema on. That's the back cover. A lot of you know this. And it's in lovely condition. One or two little marks on it, but nothing major on that Verve label, of course. Yeah, it's just really nice when you finally pick up these records that you've been looking for a while. Okay, and yeah, obviously been watching a lot of you guys showing you kind of jazz, a lot of jazz collectors and so on, obviously in the VC, and particularly with Julius Jabbar and Rob Sounds Strange. You've shown a lot of a lot of stuff, obviously, to the Blue Note series and so on, and it's just been intriguing listening to the stories and the background of these artists that I know virtually nothing about at all, but I've been really, really intrigued. And this is one that was highlighted a while back, and luckily Ben had in a copy and a reissue of this, and glad to have this. This is the Sidewinder by Lee Morgan, and yeah, what a catchy, infectiously catchy catchy record this is. I mean, particularly the title track. It's just literally been an earworm for me for days since I've listened to it. And just the rhythms and the vibe and the spirit of it is just energies. It's wonderful, wonderful. Really, really enjoying this. So keen to obviously explore more. So he actually had another one as well, another Lee Morgan. So I thought, what the hell, I'll pick this up while I'm at it as well. So I've not heard this one, but if it's anything like the Sidewinder, I'll enjoy it immensely. This is Cornbread. This you've got these artists: Herbie Hancock, Hank Mobley, Billy Higgins, Jackie McLean. I mean, it's just all these names I'm starting to sort of get to know, and it's just like a very new and fresh world for me to get into this kind of music, because I know, like I say, virtually nothing about it at all. But I am picking bits up here and there, and obviously I've got you guys to thank for that, and the VC. And like I always say, it is an education being in this fabulous community. So wonderful. Okay, changing it up completely. This one, absolutely delighted to pick up. This is a 1967 Philips original in just beautiful, almost mint condition. I can't get over how good the condition of this is. And this is Dusty Springfield's album, Where Am I Going? Oh, this is a fabulous, fabulous record. When Ben told me he got it, and because he knew I was on the lookout for Dusty Springfield, I do like her stuff. The first, I literally just, I mean, I would have bought it anyway, but the first 3 tracks on this in particular are just absolutely just mind-blowing. Again, there's that energy. Her vocals are just fantastic. Sort of close harmonies in the background, and what a wonderful, wonderful record. And it's just got this lovely flip back cover, and it is just absolutely just minty clean for an album that's like over 50 years old. It's just absolutely superb. So really, really chuffed to get this. I'll be definitely looking forward to investigating and hopefully picking up a few more of Dusty's as well. So superb stuff. So I've just got a bit of a issue with the sleeve, the inner sleeve here. It just seems to have okay. Bear with me a moment. Unfortunately, the integrity of the record and the outer sleeve was superb, but the inner sleeve's just fallen to bits. So just obviously put that in a new polyline sleeve. So no harm done there. Okay, just a couple more. This one, really pleased to get this. This takes me back to the mid-80s when I first heard this artist, and I have seen reissues of this, but I believe this is a first pressing. This is Whatever Happened to Jugular, and this is Roy Harper's 1985 album that he recorded with Jimmy Page. And this is a great record. It's also notable for the first record that his son Nick played on as well, who's a phenomenal artist in his own right as well. I mean, this is just full of Roy's just wonderful idiosyncrasies and poetry, lovely sort of detuned guitar melodies. I mean, anybody who doesn't know Roy Harper, you can just dip into anywhere in his catalogue over the last 50 odd years, and you're in for a treat. Slight sort of obviously 80s sort of quite sort of trebly production on this, but obviously you got sort of synths and some keyboards on, but the fabulous playing of Roy and Jimmy, their interplay is just superb. So I'll just show that's the rear cover, very sort of clever the way it's sort of playing a Rizzler packet there. That's the inner sleeve with the lyrics. And there's Roy and Jimmy playing the ovations. I never actually saw Roy Harper on this tour, sadly, so I never got to see the two of them play live. But I did see him later, a couple of years later. And as I say, I've seen Roy Harper several times live. So yeah, delighted to pick that one up. Okay, just one left now. It's weird, isn't it, how when somebody shows a record that you haven't seen for a while, you don't have it yourself, and then sort of a week or so after they've shown it, it turns up. This is Todd Rondren's 1974 album, Todd. I think James Griffith showed this the other week. This is a reissue on Castle Communications, Castle Classics. It was originally on Todd's Bearsville label, so it is a reissue. But I've got Something Anything, which is also a reissue. It sounds great. So I think this is 80s. I think these were 80s. I've got a Hawkwind album on this Classics label as well. It's like a budget label that came out in the 80s. But interestingly, it also comes with the poster, which I was very surprised. The reissues don't often have that. So this is, I don't know how well this is going to come out, but this is a sort of facsimile of the picture of Todd on the front cover of the album, and it's made up of all these hundreds and hundreds of names on there. You can see that make up his face. And I thought, what's all that about? And it actually says on the back that all the names returned on the postcard from the A Wizard of True Star LP, which was the album that we did before this, can be found on a poster inside this album. It says, notice names that do not appear on the poster are still on file at Bearsville and will be used when enough are accumulated for another project. Sincere apologies if all who missed the deadline or were forgotten. We'll make it up to you. So there you go. That's Todd reaching out to his fan base there and keeping them all happy. So yeah, great stuff there. So look forward to listening to that. So that's it, guys. So yeah, hope you all had a great weekend. We're actually because I'm living in Solihull now, and you've probably heard in the UK that Solihull is one of the areas that's been put into not a lockdown, but certainly COVID restrictions in terms of bubbles. So sadly, it means that I'm not going to be seeing my son, who's in Stratford, for a while, or my sister and brother-in-law. So yeah, so I hope anybody who's watching this who's from the Midlands area, Dudley, Sandwell, Birmingham, has had a great weekend and enjoyed spending that quality time with their family and friends. So before we our world becomes a little bit more restricted again. So hopefully it won't continue for too long. And but anyway, yeah. So have a great week ahead, guys. And yeah, looks like we're getting in for some decent weather at least, even though we can't go anywhere particularly. But hey ho. All right, guys. All the best. Until next time. Take care. Bye bye.